Hamzambo family. Welcome to the Tujadili 254 show on the Blackwood Fan Network on the 7th day of the month of February, the year 2021. I do hope that everyone is doing well. 2022. I'm still stuck on 2021. 2022. Never make this is 2022. But anyhow, family, we are glad that you are with us. It's always good to have you here tuning in. We just played your jam, which is known as Best of Me by the one and only Lex the Wolf. And it also has Tunzi on that particular one, and it's also a jam that was from a project known as the Road to World Domination. I do not know how far they have come along on the Road to World Domination, but nonetheless, it's also a good vibe. We did hear, something I did get to hear from that particular one, personally did get to hear from that particular one, which is Oluwa Nagode, and I have had it even with Yemi Alade. And when we talk about Nigeria having so many languages, sometimes you do have phrases from music which combine a couple of the languages. And in Nigeria, we have close to 200 languages. So when you're listening to Nigerian music, you never really know what language is being used. Sometimes it might be Yoruba, sometimes it might be Fula, sometimes it might be Igbo, sometimes it might be, all these other different groups. They do have their own languages. So when I did hear of Oluwa Nagode, Oluwa, actually I understand it means God. They do have their own local names for God. And one of these that you will find are used widely across Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but even in Western Africa, is Oluwa. And Oluwa is from the Yoruba language of the Yoruba people in West Africa. And Nagode is also the second bit of it, which is a Hausa. Nagode is not Yoruba, Nagode is actually Hausa. So when you do say Oluwa Nagode, it's two languages, but it's one phrase which gets to borrow from two languages. I don't know about other Kate and Ajobi did get to know about these two languages from the Yoruba and the Hausa.
No, I didn't, but Karibuni Sana family, this is the 254 Tujadili show. Hope you are doing great. Karibuni Sana, my name is Joby.
Yes, and I know a little bit about the Hausa, but I don't know their original history. And karibuni sana to the 254 Tujadili show. My name is Kate.
Welcome to the Tujadili 254 show once again. And for those who would like to interact with us, please make sure you find us on our social media and also our network, which is www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com. Once you are on there, there are a couple of things you will find there. You will find podcasts, you will find the blogs, you will find news and updates from around the world, and you can also get in touch with us also on the show page or also on the social network page. The social network page is really a place where you can just get to share whatever you would like to share with the rest of the family. Once you are also on the network, please give a visit to the apparel store, and once you are on there, you will see a couple of wonderful items. Their hoodies, their beanies, their t-shirts, their hoodie, their crop tops. There are a whole lot of wonderful items that you will find on the network website. And hopefully soon there will also be more things added onto the network website, so that if you want to get to know a little bit about the Blackwood Fan Network and you are interested in getting to tour East Africa, specifically so Tanzania, then you would also get to find out information as how you can do about that, because the Blackwood Fan Network is also getting everything set up for the family, so that you can also get assistance and help when you're trying to get onto the continent and maybe trying to be here for reasons, for leisure, for business, for other things. We are also setting you up with that as well. And like you said, today we are looking forward to having a wonderful broadcast and discussing issues that have to do with us as an African people. We normally do get to converse about money, wealth, as well as love. But for today, we shall be discussing about the issue of money and wealth, which is what has become of the African continent. Because of the greedy leaders, we do have a very, very big gap between the haves and the have-nots. Even if you look at a place, for example, like Equatorial Guinea, which I love to use as an example. Equatorial Guinea is a country with the same president for 40 years. His name is Tujadili Guema, and right now he has also put up his son as a vice president after having put him up as a minister for finance. And it has never get diabolical than this, because what has been is that, for example, for the rich, for the small group of elite, political elite in Equatorial Guinea, the places where they live at, you will see extreme wealth. For the other rest of the population, which is about over 90% of the population, you will find people living in poverty, and many people not even living below poverty line, which is they are not making even enough money to fend for their families. But we shall be discussing that and much more. We also do have news and updates from the beautiful continent of Africa. In case you also would like to gets us in terms of a solution. We are asking the question for today: what can be done really to sort of minimize or eradicate the gap between the haves and have-nots, the rich and the poor on the continent of Africa? Because in most developing countries, there is not, the government does not seem to show any kind of a goodwill or any kind of an intention to have that dealt with. You know, in South Africa, it has one of the most unequal societies in the world. Like I said, Equatorial Guinea, the same thing. But we shall be asking that particular question: what should or could be done to reduce the wealth gap, you know, the inequality gap as well, when it comes to the haves and the have-nots on the continent of Africa. But for now, we go back in the music, and of course, right now we do have the jam, which is by the one and only Phil Gongo. The name of the song is African Girl. We hope that you also get the jam to it. That is one and only Phil Gongo, and the name of the song is African Lady.
I was trying to Shazam that song, and I can see it's on Shazam. That's amazing.
He has put up his music on Spotify. I think Gongo is an artist who is doing well in East Africa. I don't know about the rest of the world, so he'll probably be doing it. He probably has his music on iTunes, on Spotify, and other different places, so that is why you can find it on Shazam. Not for many artists that you have on the continent who have also been eager.
Let me know if you can hear me or not.
Okay, I can hear you, kid.
You hear me right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Since you want to call me while you want to call me while the brother was there.
The brother would have stayed here getting. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Africans all over the world know that they're Africans. I said that lady. Thank you.
Which lady?
African. Shut up. And Ari Lennox, the lady, shut up, you're not African. The whole thing, they can't look at that lady, go, she's African. So don't tell us we don't know we African. You play tribal game in Africa. So the Africans outside of Africa know that they don't need anybody tell them, except, and shout out to Tariq, I gotta give all these Ethiopians have been exposed, like I told you, these fake Ethiopians, they're now running up talking about they not black. I tell people about these. They tell you, we're not black, we're Caucasians. Motherfucking Ethiopia means black, you dummy. But see, he doesn't know that. I'm gonna start one of the rooms and just start breaking these Ethiopians' backs.
Is it the land of the black, the burnt faces? The land of the burnt faces. I think that is what they call it.
That's what Ethiopia means, burnt face. That's what it meant. That's what the Greeks called it. Ethiopia means the people. Also, he said African people are not poor. That's a lie. We are poor. You're the poorest people on the planet. You might not like that. You might not like that. That's a fact. I don't care if you see. Africans want to not deal with reality. They want to deal with Jesus and how. Black people don't like to deal with that. Now we do, I tell you, live on the richest continent, but you don't own nothing on the continent. You don't own it. White people own it, or Asians own it, or East Indians own it, or white Arabs own it. You don't own it.
The land is, the continent is rich, but the poor, the people are poor. That is a disconnect. But that is a disconnect.
Now, I would be honest, the African wasn't poor. Africa was a rich person. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not engineered and it's not wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is now. That's a fact. Like I said, like Joe was from South Africa. When Joe was from South Africa, some of the names are the same. They're the same damn people. That's why the names are the same. I told you the people that came out of Eswatini came out of, they part of the Kikuyu tribe who inhabit north central Kenya. That's where the Eswatini people came from. Yeah, some of the names would slightly change a little bit. Go ahead,
no, I'm saying if I ever get that opportunity and I go to Eswatini, which is a Swaziland land run by King Mswati too, probably by then they'll have thrown him out. But I would be able to also check linguistically and see the parallels, you know. Go out there and speak as much Kikuyu as I can and see who will be listening. And then from there I will know there will be the match, there will be the match linguistically.
I'm sure it's similar. I'm sure linguistics, they would understand some words because they left Central Kenya about 400 years ago. About 400, so they were arguing, fighting with another tribe. I don't know what tribe they were fighting with. Maybe it was a break of the Kikuyu tribe were fighting each other. And like I said, they took a band of them and they all went down to Southern Africa. I remember they said they tried to stop in Zimbabwe, but they were getting harassed and they kept going further south. And so they settled what we call Swaziland, Eswatini. But those people came from Kenya. You know, that's a fact. So the languages I'm sure will be similar, but through time and distances and the environment, the languages change somewhat, of course.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. You don't need to tell us. I know I'm an African person. I don't need you to tell me.
But I was just saying,
because I'm an American doesn't make me not African.
But I was just saying, there is a fact that most people get to understand. I was just saying that even before we did have slavery and these other things, black people used to travel all over the world. You know, they had moved to different places, and therefore you cannot say that everyone.
Well, let me say, the Africans. That's true. The African settled. The African is the only one indigenous to the globe. All other people. Where do people come from? See, no one asks this question. The African original, that's the why you just forget what you say. Probably about this guy tell you it's completely different. But like I said, you don't tell me they create no white man and no Asian. Those are two different species. African and the Neanderthal have two states. If they make a baby, that baby will be still, just like a horse and a donkey. A mule can't give birth. So that's a lot. I keep telling you that the African, if the Neanderthal, to create a white man, an Asian man, and he's Indian. Because they were two different.
The audio is in and out. It's choppy. I'm saying the audio is in and out. It's choppy. I can hear most of what you're saying, but it's also choppy. But I agree with you because right now they do say that the linkage is the people. For example, on the continent, in Kenya specifically, there was this anthropologist. His name was Louis Leakey, and he went on with his publishing, writing of how people did get to move from the Homo sapien when he went to Tanzania, and also when he went to some parts of Kenya, talking about how he collected these pieces or these skeletons of the early man.
He's hominid.
The early man, and also talking about what there was a discovery of some of the giant footsteps in Tanzania, which were traced on hot lava. After there was what do we call it? There was this explosion.
Excavation.
No, it was an explosion. I think it was a mountain which was active, and therefore there was a volcanic mountain there which also exploded, and there was lava and there was some footsteps found there, which are said to be footsteps of giants. And now all these stories put together, they put in more confusion. Now the Africans
No, that's not more confusion because I told you trying to teach you and Cammy that. Coming from a higher dimension, you would be bigger physics, you would be bigger beings. So as we transcend from the spirit to this third dimension, you will be a bigger. So in the beginning, the African would have been a giant because it would have been less dense. As the third dimension becomes more denser, you have to become a smaller being to live on this planet. So that's why you find giant bones everywhere, giants everywhere. These all this history trying to lie because it destroys the Bible. It destroys all their fake religions and myths. It destroys all the lies. They got all this stuff. They got bones of African people going back. I think Michael Craig said they got one in Andalusia where in Spanish. I'm an African that's at least 500 million years ago. 500 million. Not no monkey. Not no Neanderthal. A black human. We know it's going to be black. Because we came from the ether, as our ancestors said. We came from the ether, which is the spirit world. We fell in vibration. So we fell into physical, into skin. Skin is no more than a web around the damn light that houses us. We're light beings. That's what we are, we're light beings. So I should have shared that video with you Friday when I did the discussion about being light. What melanin does. Melanin also repairs DNA. So melanin.
Does melanin what?
Does melanin heal DNA?
Let me see. Does melanin
Does melanin
heal DNA? They're saying that does melanin prevent? No, okay. Experimental melanin pigment is believed to prevent development of the ultraviolet UV induced skin cancer by shielding the cell nuclei and reducing DNA damage formation. However,
that's why you used to live August. This would heal your what you is on this because your is light. It would change the genetics.
The melanin
that would live long.
That would of course make it even as a black people, as a melanated people, even more envied by the rest of these other people whose melanin, who lack melanin.
Exactly. That's why when Kelly put on the shades, that's why when Kelly said to put on the shades, she's cold. She doesn't know those shades fucks her melanin up, causes her to be sick. You think you don't know?
You just be a medical blind, nothing much. Sister Liberty is saying,
I didn't know that. I used to wear shades all the time too. I thought I'm all cool. I used to, I'm in my ex-wife's family. I keep always wear shades. Don't worry about what I do. It looks cool. Even inside, I keep wearing shades because it made me look cool. I didn't know it was causing damage.
Sister Liberty is saying, exactly, Keith. We were everywhere enjoying this planet. Yes. And Sister Liberty also saying, where people.
Yeah, it was only us.
And Sister Michelle is saying a good afternoon. And 10 pounds greater the Al Neanderthal Vista. Hi Sister Michelle, horrible connection. We have a horrible connection today. I think it's why the audio is also not as clear. But I really hope that you can hear me. And also if you do I was asking a question a little bit earlier on about this inequality gap on the continent before we also proceed with the matter of the discoveries and what has been said about the lie of evolution. I was just saying, Keith, now that we know that Africa is not rich, Africa is rich, but the African are not rich, and there is that, what do we call it? There is that question as what the puzzle. How would it be possible for us as a people on the continent to reduce the inequality? Because in South Africa, like I was saying, you have
to stop being. The African has to stop being a coward. He has to. He has to get the uprise. You talking about them coups are bad? Them coups are good. Even though the Guinea one, that's people now getting fed up. People now being fed up. Look, Africa has been put in poverty on purpose. It's not like not a natural occurrence. You know what I'm saying? African has been what's the word? Engineered poverty. It's not a natural occurrence. So you're gonna have an uprising that's gonna happen. That's a natural state. Nothing stays the same in the universe. It's universal law. Nothing stays the same. Only thing that's is the same is change.
Yeah.
Everything changes. Everything changes from one to another. So the Europeans is trying to freeze the world as they stole it. So try to freeze African people into poverty. That's not going to be allowed to happen. The only person in the universe is change. So there's change coming to Africa. You can't sit on the richest continent and on the planet and be in poverty. Africans have been made ignorant. He's been put in poverty. That's not normal.
When the
So you're gonna have okay.
No, I'm saying when the war happened, not that war. When there was these people rioting in South Africa, people did say that it had to do with Jacob Zuma being arrested, but it had to do with inequality and people getting fed up in South Africa. Even if it was not consistent.
Yeah,
even if it was not held on and
even though exactly.
They have not.
Even though Africa is developed, black people living conditions are deplorable. Even though it's tantamount to it lets you know how wicked these puppets have been and how the system never changed. The African stays mired in poverty. And if you're gonna uprise South Africa, you must take over the whole country. You can't just go be run around getting consumer goods and moronic shit. Let me go get me a radio and a TV. Everybody run out of the damn mall with big screen TVs. You got no electricity at home.
Not even.
How you gonna play the TV? You got no electricity.
Not even the electricity, but even the land that most South Africans live on is the leased land. You know, you're getting the government gets to give you allowance of maybe 70 years or how many years to use that land. And it's not really land that you can say you totally own, and also most of the land is owned by white people, and therefore you do not have many people having collateral to better their lives, because you would need land, maybe as a collateral to go and secure a loan and get a loan maybe to start up a factory or start up a production concern. But you would have to have land as well, which is a factor of production.
On the land, they are in South Africa. Because the land ownership is
I think the audio is it's digitizing in points, but you're saying that in South Africa the land ownership is not in their own hands, and that is what they can. Yeah.
It's about slow it down and be more. Found that Zimbabwe with Southern Rhodesia. She said, why don't they go back to their country? Came to Africa because they were impoverished. And they don't plan to leave Africa to go. They had to keep that, like I told you. They want to keep the world as they stole it. So they say, African people, you don't know how to farm the land, you're dummies. That's what the Zimbabwe, that's what the white Rhodesians, the Africans been farming their generations. You're too tough to farm the land.
And I was just saying that on the continent, in South Africa especially, you would have people thinking that Road used to run these two places. It was under in southern Africa, Zambia, and out of that particular kind of an oppression even today, because the land that was stolen from them, it was then given back to them, and then after that the government now has to pay. It does not make any sense in Zimbabwe. That is what we were saying now with Sister Rumbizai. She refused to talk about
it. The mind is captured.
It's captured.
Joby always laughs when I say this. Right? Joby always laughs when I say this. You know the African mind is still fucked up. All you gotta do is look at Kenya, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Nigeria. Look at these judges that's out there with these white man wigs on their head.
That is what they get to do and talk about being freedom. You cannot be free if you are actually under the religion of the oppressor, not even the religion, but under the system. When it comes to education, religion, monetary system, there is no kind of an independence that you can claim that you do have, which is not pegged onto these European systems. Because after quote-unquote independence, what did happen is, yeah.
In short, you don't own anything.
Yeah, and also after independence, we got to really adopt all these systems that are from the West, and of course, it's for their own benefits. But
they're all European, like you say exactly. Your government.
You're breaking up, kid. You're breaking up. I can only hear in bits. But there is a question as to why there should be a need for the reduction of this gap or the reduction of inequality among different individuals. And without transformative leadership, which we lack on the continent, there can never be any kind of a gap being reduced on the continent. For me, I do believe that the leadership counts.
No,
but look at the leaders.
They have to continue.
Yeah?
That's going to be revolution. Africa's got to go through a bloody revolution period. It's unequal, it's unfair. It's unfair. Africans have been living in ignorance and poverty too long.
I once shared a video of Equatorial Guinea and how they live. You know, Equatorial Guinea is rich in oil, and they do have the government, the political elite living in one area, and then the rest of the population living in another area. And you will find in those political elite they find that the roads are tarmacked. They have power and water.
Let me tell you a video before I keep talking. Just need this real quick.
On.
Well, you can get yourself. Go to the Checkers channel, Spike.
Yeah.
Go to the Checkers channel and look and go to one of the lines we said the richest countries in Africa.
Let me see.
It should be pretty new. The richest countries in Africa. But all of Africa is rich. Let us go. I already knew they were going to say the richest one was the Congo. I knew that. That's the richest country on the planet. It's in absolute poverty. But Guinea's going to be one of the richest countries. Then why is it impoverished, right? It's got to be revolution.
They do not run it. They do not.
The puppets are living good, Spike. That's right. The puppets are living good, Spike. The political puppets. Everybody else lives in poverty.
You know, the son of the vice president has the best Lamborghini and the best Ferrari in Equatorial Guinea. He has the best. He probably has private jets. And
the son is the vice president, Spike.
So you can only imagine that people are talking about
Banana Republic.
It's Banana Republic right there. So let me see. The richest African, let me see the richest countries on the continent. Let me see which video.
Our new country. Yeah, I'm going to play it. I knew it was the place on the planet. Why these Congolese fucking pop?
It's because they do not run the resources they have on the ground. That is, they do not.
I said, two tickets. Yeah, people own it now. We don't got to control them because they know there's a revolution coming. It's going to be in the next 20 years. That's my purpose. There's going to be a lot of people die. A lot of puppet families are going to get their work. And that wealth is going to go into African hands, period.
Let me share these video here. Just a second. Let me share these. See how
people for centuries because of the world's ruthless greed to steal it all, but not for long. Welcome to Tujadili, and in today's video we present the top 10 richest African countries based on natural resources. Before we get into the video, remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. Number 10. Botswana. This South African country is rich in diamonds, copper, coal, soda ash, and nickel. Number 9. Ghana. This West African country is rich in gold, bauxite, diamonds, manganese, crude oil, silver, and salts. Number 8. Tanzania. This Eastern African country is rich in tanzanite, gold, diamonds, gems, and silver. Number 7. Guinea. This West African country is rich in bauxite, alumina, diamonds, and gold. Number 6. Mozambique. This southeastern country is rich in aluminium, natural gas, crude oil, copper, gold, rubies, graphite, titanium, marbles, bauxite, and many more. Number 5. South Africa. This southern African country is rich in gold, diamonds, iron ore, platinum, manganese, chromium, uranium, silver, beryllium, and titanium. Number 4. Zambia. This southern African country is rich in uranium, silver, cobalt, copper, coal, lead, zinc, and gold. Number 3. Namibia. This southern African country is rich in uranium, diamonds, zinc, lead, sulfur, salts, tantalite, and copper. Number 2. Niger. This West African country is rich in uranium, coal, cement, gold, iron ore, tin, phosphates, petroleum, salts, gypsum, and many more. And the number 1 spot for the richest African country based on natural resources is number 1, Democratic Republic of Congo. This Central African country is actually the richest country in the world and is almost single-handedly powering the global tech industry with all the valuable resources that are found in the country. The Democratic Republic of Congo is rich in abundance of copper, cobalt, zinc, diamonds, oil, coltan, gold, lithium, bauxite, natural gas, tin, and many more. Did you enjoy our video?
That is the presentation there when it comes to natural resources, not from the perspective. Yeah, I get.
But so with any farmland,
Yeah.
crazy. The African, one of those markets. Africa so is crazy.
You're breaking up, Keith. But what he's told of Africa is that it's poor poverty. This
I
is
said the Congo is the richest place on the planet.
true.
The rich, the Africa is so damn rich, it's crazy.
But the thing, going back again, is a matter of a control. You know, the African people have left the control, and these resources are not defended. The control over these resources are left.
That's what I said. You don't control it.
To the hands of these Europeans. And you could hear a mine. There was a mine I think was being sold for $1 by a Chinese company, and this was in Zimbabwe. No, this was in the DRC. Let me even try to look up. Let me see.
That's the Congo.
Yeah, it was in the Congo. Mine sold for $1. Sold for $1. But when it comes to natural resources, but even if you look at those countries that they have been named, most of them, like in Niger, they are in conflict. The DRC
is business fight. Cause of conflict. The natural resources is what creates the product. That's what Joby's on the phone, fucking around on the internet. That's from it wasn't for the research, she wouldn't have no phone.
This is all the.
And what for the resources, Katie? And what for the resources, Katie wouldn't be trying to look cool with her damn shades on. The resources would make the products.
This is all the resources taken from the continent are mostly used to make computers. I think last year they were saying, was it last year? Yeah, last year, the end of last year, they were saying there was a shortage for chips, computer chips, and other resources because of the global supply chain. But I think they were trying to also. There was something going on with that because they really cannot point to the bottom of the matter why there was a demand, there was a decrease in computer chips. I know that in the DRC Congo they get to mine cobalt.
That's why all the terrorism is in Africa, Spike. So they can steal and rob and keep people dissolved. That's why they brought the religion. Gave you more tribes. Because Africa's so goddamn rich. and Dopey showed up on a show Friday. They put Africa so rich. Africa's so much richer than the rest of the world. It's crazy. Africa is so much richer than the rest of the world. It is mind blowing.
So, for example, for the computer chip and the resources from the continent, they say that these computer chips are made of silicon, and because it's a semiconductor, and they say the mineral quartz is ideal because it has two main components of silicon, which are silicon and oxygen. So those properties, those minerals are also found in abundance on the continent of Africa, and that is why you will find the struggle being there. But also going back to the issue of these disparity in income and wealth, I would say that one of the things that maybe perhaps should get to be looked into is the issue of actually leadership. I was just saying, without leadership, without proper leadership that is focused on the people, we cannot talk about the bridging of the gap.
I rule Africa. I'm only going to put in puppets that represent my interests. That's why you don't have any real leadership on the continent. There hasn't been any real leadership on the continent in 200 or 300 years. I'm not putting no leader in what to give Africa back to you.
No. It's not going to happen.
Hey, listen, I always got to go. Museveni couldn't even be a janitor in America. He's so backward and stupid. You wouldn't even put that man as a janitor. He's in an African country.
What job would you
He's Museveni.
What job would you be given a Kofuado if you gave janitors job?
I was to mention him, and I just saw that.
Maybe I do.
He said with the name that he gave his son, which means let me just see the name. The name Muhozi, it means vengeance, and it's a revenge on his behalf. I think even if he walks out of power, even if he walks out of power, I think he's ready. Like he knows his son maybe might take over because
he wants his son to take over. That is what he's propping him up. But the people don't want him. He's propping his son up, but the people don't want him. They put him in charge as a general, so they wouldn't be because he would fear. I think what he was fearing is that there would have been a coup.
I call it Banana Republic, Johnny.
I think a coup might happen.
But now they have put his son as the head of it, as a general. Now the general, many times when we have a coup, he's a military.
General Dummy, General Dum Dum.
There was a writer who went to call him General Dum Dum and calling him in fact. He was arrested.
Kofi Dada Doodle is smarter than the 70s, right? Yeah. So I'll make Kofi Dada a manager of a Walmart or some shit.
But I was just saying, he fears that he will be overthrown by a military coup. That is why maybe perhaps he's propping up his son and putting him as a general. But people do not want it. People are tired.
Okay.
They are tired. Yeah, of course they can, but they are tired. That is the thing. In Uganda, he has actually taken close to 40 years in power. I understand he's now close to 4 decades in power, and no change. The roads are as bad as they were. The infrastructure, there has not been infrastructure development. Right now, what he's actually doing,
yeah, it's worse.
Right now, what he's doing is actually making a show of these pipeline that is supposed to be constructed in Uganda and Tanzania. That is what he's now boasting with, but it's not a thing that he has done himself. These are the people trying to get the resource from Uganda and Tanzania. This money is not under his own funding. That is what is transformative for the people of Uganda. But this is not your initiative. This is not a plan that you can say, this is what I have brought to my people. This is a change I have brought to my people. I would say maybe perhaps someone like Muammar Gaddafi, whom they killed, had done much more for the people in terms of transforming.
With Libya, he made Libya a first world power, a first world country, not power, but first world services, right? So Gaddafi took the money, didn't hoard it, made sure his people had wealth. Education was free in Libya, all the way at the college level, free. So whatever you want to study, as long as you can pass the test, you can take. You got a home, and their dollar was comparable with the American dollar. Rothschild and Rockefeller system. Now that they are, guess what? Libya is one of the poorest countries in Africa now. But one of the richest, now one of the poorest.
And you know, from what I did here, yeah.
The Rockefeller Rothschild, thank you, sir. Oh, good.
No, I was saying from the list of 10 countries that are rich, I didn't hear Libya mentioned. I think I had Botswana. I'm not sure if Libya pops up on that. I know Libya has.
It's poverty now. It's poor now,
right? It's poor now. That is what has become.
They got control of Libya now. The Rothschilds are. Right. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers got it now. They stole the resources. The country now impoverished.
That is what has become of a candidate once.
No, it's not one of the most.
That is what has become of one of the countries that was super rich, and people were living on. I'm sorry, inequality levels compared to other cities, and also they had tried also in that country. But family, I do see Sister Michelle, you are still with us, and also Sister Libya. Thank you so much for taking time to join us on the broadcast. And we were asking the family what can be done to reduce inequality levels.
Let me have my Sprite for Katie.
Sorry, what?
Let me have my Sprite for Katie. I said, let me have my Sprite for Katie.
That's kid having his Sprite. It's too much sugar, I guess. But I was just saying that what can be done. I was asking the family what really can be done to reduce the inequality gaps on the continent. And maybe perhaps if Kate and Joby would also like to respond, or anyone also on the chat, feel free to also respond there.
One, I think we need to improve the infrastructure in the view of maybe improving schools, hospitals, and other maybe public amenities, like because when you improve a school, this is a public school, the parent wouldn't see the need of taking the child to a private school, because they see like you'll have a good school, a good public school where everything is being offered, you have the proper education system, and so these rich people will not see like they won't see themselves superior. They'll just lower their standards and take the school, the children to the public school because it has a good, like it is good.
I think in general, I think what would be done in general would be improving education, because for a long time many people have been denied access to education because it's pricey, it's expensive. We were saying on the continent of Africa, that is why you do have schools, you know, charging very, very expensively per term, which is 3 months for you know, very, 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 very large fee, which
is inhumane.
And the families cannot afford.
If these puppets cared about raising the country, which they don't, education would be free. And these folks push up for me real quick. So when did California start? What year did California start having paid college, paid university? Because college in California, some of the best colleges in the world, were absolutely free. Not just the regular school, but colleges. So yeah. Say when did California state colleges start? Yeah, I think.
Let me see about the answer.
Because too many black people like you. If you want to improve your people, but there's a danger, because when you got educated people, they most likely will overthrow you because you're corrupt. So that's why education costs money in Kenya and all throughout Africa. That's the most, because you don't care about educating your people, because you can't control an educated populace. You can control ignorant people, because they don't know shit. They're caught Jesus speak or Allah talk. They don't even know that they're the government. The government. Hey, Ducky. They're the government. You can talk that. So, that's education. This small round woman now start going down. Dumber today. You will notice you're dumber today than people were 100 years ago. You're like, what? Yes, you're dumber today. So put this up, Spike. Say, ask Google, say the IQ level was higher 100 years ago than today. And I know it was. Most people are stupid as shit today. Morons. If Jimmy get mad, I call them morons, but that's the appropriate word. Most people are morons.
Pardon the question.
100 years ago.
Say the IQ level is the IQ level is worse off today than it was 100 years ago.
IQ level.
Is less today, say less today than it was 100 years ago. We're stupider today.
Yeah, would this be blamed, kid? Would this be blamed on technology? Can we blame it on technology and say now people don't have to use it?
Part of it. Most people don't read. They look at TV. They look at YouTube. They on Instagram. They on Twitter. People on Instagram showing their ass. Look at me twerk my butt cheeks. Look at this. Look at me. Like what? What kind of moronic ass shit is this? So yes. That's why I think Katie still really smart. Katie says she read a lot of books. Book reading makes you smart. Like it causes your brain to have an attention span. Most people have short attention spans. They can't follow nothing because they have short attention spans.
They're saying,
What do you say?
they're saying that from, this is on one post here, they're saying that in 1965, they didn't know, I mean, all went in one direction, upward at a rate of about 3 points per decade. This insight was the average, what was the average IQ in 1965? Let me see, making the, just called. They're saying that this decade, this insight meant that the person making an average, the person was making an average score of 100 in 1965 would likely score just 85 points on today's tests. So they're saying,
it's not lower.
Yeah,
because you can tell from the vocabulary space, the way people speak. You can tell, I knew that when I was growing up, because I used to have because I read a lot. So I had a very extensive vocabulary, right? So I told you when I went to New Orleans, I listened to people talk. And I'm like, wow, this motherfucker's a functional idiot. I'm like, wow, shit is crazy. We're functional idiots. We're like almost retarded people.
So, do you think even now, because right now they're saying the average would be just 45, it means that in the next 10 years or in the next 30 years, you know, there will still be a continued decline of the IQ, because now people would also be hooked on to...
Yeah, but when you realize the IQ, 85 spikes is almost retarded. So most of everybody's retarded. People don't want to admit that. But I tell you, I'm going to hurt your feelings. But you guys are most of your parents are morons. That's just a fact. I'm not me being mad. These are just physical evidence that I know.
But I
don't like that I know so much, but I do.
I think we are declining even further, because now we're headed towards transhumanism, part machine, part human, part machine. Now it means that the part human will not even have to use a lot of IQ.
That's true. You can't critically think. See, okay, look, Mike.
And that would be the...
There's a key. The government said there's a pandemic and people are dying. I said, God damn, are you this fucking stupid that you don't see what the hell's going on? I said, I'm telling you what this is about. This is about the big dirt map, Jack.
And I think also I would agree.
And
I would also, because you would also have to look into the past and see what has been done in the past and what they're heading right now. I agree with you, Sister Libera. You're saying we must know the past. We must know the past to move forward and not to allow it to happen again. But the thing I always keep on saying is, as a black people globally, we forget too quick. You know, we are quick to move from one challenge to another one. We also forget very quick what has been done to us, and we go back into the same kind of a problem. You know, now we would say there was a Tuskegee experiment.
Exactly, so we know. So I'm looking at Katie. Katie said looking like a young Mary J. Blige, but her brain is screaming. Take off these damn shades, Katie. Take them off.
she wants to look as cool. But I was saying that the thing is we have to look at the past and see what has been done to us for us to be able to move forward and learn. And if our learning curve is not, it's not so good.
You're gonna learn, Katie. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, sweetheart. I'll just tell you what I had to learn. I used to sit there with shades on. I used to think tattoos were cool. I said, hey, if I get these tattoos, now she give me a tattoo too. Because of course, you're influenced. I'm like, maybe she give me a tattoo. And then I had to learn. Thank God I learned before what it meant. That it causes cancer, and it destroys your vibration. I didn't know none of that stuff. I would have tattoos all over my body. Look at me looking cool with my sunglasses and my tattoos, guys.
You'd even have them on top of your head like Batman. You'd even have them on your head, on your scalp like Batman.
Not that crazy. Not that crazy. I want to have on my arm. I want to have on my arm, but not on my head.
Do you have tattoos?
Huh?
Do you have tattoos?
Hell no.
He doesn't have, he says he doesn't have tattoos of them. But I've seen people going way overboard, doing so much of them, and the ink, like you said, it's carcinogenic as well, and people don't really care,
It's carcinogenic.
Yeah.
But then Katie must have read it somewhere. Katie knew that. Katie must have read it somewhere. She got that information somewhere. She must have known.
She got the download from the ancestors.
Ain't not a bit.
That is probably that is probably who she had it from. Sister Libera, you're saying a kid. They killed the black Germans in that Holocaust. Then set up whites in the camp for documentary. Those same whites were placed here in America and also in the new state of Israel. And the Palestinians pushed them off and their land. Those beasts are taking land. Yeah, that is what was done. The Palestinians have been thrown out squeezed to the corner.
Those are ones, and you've been killing Nigeria. Those people now the chosen people.
That is
okay.
That is resettlement.
And I will call you a moron.
That is what they call the resettlement. But now, since Whoopi Goldberg was saying it has nothing to do with the race, she was told she can go home for 2 weeks and think on it. She was suspended for 2 weeks, and she can.
Yeah, because look, she tells the truth. You're not allowed to tell the truth, Mike. So her book looking cool. It's not about race. It was white people killing white people. Now that would be true because the Jews will not claim that they're original Hebrews, right? And that they're different race. And that's a religion, the converts.
But people on the continent.
No. And that's it. Right.
Now, saying people on the continent have also faced similar atrocities, and also as the continent as a black people because of what happened with King Leopold. But anyhow, that is not even spoken much about.
Not just that. Not just in Congo, in Kenya. You know they people murdered and killed in Kenya.
So many of them butchered. Left.
South Africa, Namibia,
all over
Nigeria, Ghana.
But that is never really documented, nor do they get to talk about it. Now they say being a Jew is a race.
No, you know what I'm like, because we're black and we don't have control any power. So you keep getting movies, they own all the movies, they own
all the media, they run it.
All the Jews! All the Holocaust, all the Jews, all the Holocaust, all the chosen people.
Sister Libera is saying that now they are saying being a Jew is a race. Now because you're a Jew, you are a race, which is what they would continue and set themselves.
They've been said that. That's a lie. They've been said that. And it's a lie, but they control the planet.
And the media.
They control the planet.
And also,
of course, they control all the media. They own all the media. That's why they were able to do. That's why Joe was in that cab last year. Because
it's because if you ask me, Pedro, that you can actually scare someone who just came into the chat by screaming like that. But anyhow, family, we almost winding up with the Tujadili 254. We were saying that a proper transformative change is all needed, and a revolution is also needed for us to be able to bridge this gap. on the continent between the haves and the have-nots. Kiddos, you would scare anyone. You would scare anyone who just walked into the room wondering now what's going on.
I was never screaming.
But family, we are winding up on today's episode. It might rain right here in Nairobi. It's about
I'm embarrassing Joey. I'm embarrassing Joey to be funny.
Nothing, that did not happen, family. But anyhow, make sure you join us on the other episode of the Africa Today show. We shall also be coming back with that. And
you said, where is Katie? I don't know Katie yet, but Katie was dangerous.
Stop it. We are winding up. Our family shall be ending up with this particular one known as a greedy. Thank you
Put
so
your
much.
shades back on, Katie. Stop looking so sad.
Our boyfriend left her.
She's tormented in that way. She has not been left by anyone. But anyhow, family, you want to thank you for today's show and let us www.blackheart5network.
I don't think is the website back up, Spikes? I don't think it's back up yet.
I was trying to load it a few minutes. It wasn't going on still. But psychopaths. Yeah, it wasn't going on still.
Yeah, I think it's Monday, so we'll set it up. We're still not up, so family, it's Monday, those guys are working the weekend, so they'll get around to it. I sent them my email. So I'm sure they'll get around to putting it back up. I think the first page is back up, but the rest of it is still down, so you know.
So
and don't forget how everyone's scared.
That was not how it happened. Kid with the yelling. That is not how it happened. But make sure you join us also on Africa Today show and also other different subsequent episodes. For now, it's much peace and love. We do say Kwaheri. That is like someone who actually used to point.
Stop it! Stop with your yelling!
I wasn't.
She wasn't yelling. Our family, much peace. This is one of the jams by the one and only Starkey Darkos. We hope that you have it. If you really love me, you should give back.